Okay, so I remember mentioning to y'all a couple weeks ago that I was going to start a deep dive into Deuteronomy. We started that in shul this week, and I think we got through about the middle or end of chapter 3. I'm taking it one chapter at a time, though, however, and so I'm just doing Devarim 1, or Deuteronomy 1. This happens to have been, the Shabbat Hazon, which is the vision, and that refers to the Haftarah that we read today, or Haftarah, I said it in the plural, that we read yesterday, which is the giving hope. First, it talks pretty sadly about the situation, and then it brings us to hope. Just as we move into today, which is Tisha B'Av, or the 9th of Av, which is a fast day, and it is the saddest day of the year. This is the day that we believe each of the temples were destroyed, and several other things, the day Moses broke the tablets, etc. So there are several things added on by tradition, and then, of course, the factual evidence, which is that that Jerusalem and the temple had been ransacked, and on this day the temple completely fell, was razed and burned. So anyway, it's customary to fast, or at least modify one's eating and drinking habits for a little while, to listen to or read the Book of Lamentations, which I listened to and read last night. Just contemplate how we could do better, how we can make this a better world, how our own actions, how we can make ourselves better, such that we can make the world a little bit better place. So the Parsha begins. These are the words that Moses addressed all Israel on the other side of the Jordan. So it is pointing out that we are now in Israel and looking back, and this is the beginning of Moses' long speech to the children of Israel before they crossed over the river. It is 11 days from Egypt, basically, to Horeb, the Mount Sinai. There's 3 different names, I believe. I can't remember the other one. Is it Mount Seir? Anyway, there's several names for Mount Sinai, and it is 11 days from Egypt to here, and it's taken us 40 years to get here. Sometimes 40 is used for a long time. If it may not be a literal 40, but it's seen as a very long time. It could be either, but in either case, we went less than 300 miles in 40 years. At Kadesh Barnea, Miriam's death and burial is mentioned, and Moses sends out the spies. Interestingly, there are 3 slightly different renditions of previous occurrences in the Torah. One who recommends the spy mission, and it seems to be in Deuteronomy the people recommend the spy mission, and Moses agrees, whereas it's slightly different in the previous text. Who recommends the group of elders to judge kind of minor offenses, etc. In the previous text, it told us that it was Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, and in this case, Moses said that he could not bear the children of Israel alone, and that they should choose leaders of their different groups to be those judges. And then I think the hardest one of all is Moses says, "Because of you, God was incensed with me and will not let me cross over." This being, of course, the second water at the rock episode, where Moses strikes the rock rather than speaking to the rock. And I guess in some sense, since they were trying to get water, it was on their behalf. I think what it tells me is that Moses, while truly a prophet and one who was very inspiring, one to whom God spoke face to face, even he can sometimes maybe try to make himself look a little bit better. You can take it as you wish. If you're a complete literalist and what I've said is blasphemy, you just kind of interpret it however you want to. It goes on to say, you have stayed at this mountain long enough. I wonder, in fact, I wrote a simile, or it's not simile, what is it called? A sermon, excuse me, on this years ago. I think God tells us this quite often. We've stayed at this mountain long enough, time to move forward, or as he says, start out and make your way. They go to take possession of the land, Amidah, which is the same word that it's earth, and it's the same word that God used to make Adam. And he is to, or they are to take possession of the land. The word actually probably means seize or dispossess. It can mean inherit, which excuse me, which conjures up some other ideas, or occupy. Let's see what else caught my eye. Talks about the wilderness, the terrible wilderness, and then of course the report of the spies is given as well, and not one of this generation, being that previous generation, would move into the promised land except for Caleb and Joshua. So I found those very interesting. The last thing I'll tell you is that Devarim is words, and that begins the Parsha. And at the end, towards the end of the first book of Deuteronomy, there is Devarim, and I believe I said that correctly, and that is bees. So it's kind of interesting. It's the same consonants, slightly different vowels, and it either means words or bees. And think about how many times we could interchange those in our readings, etc., and glean even deeper meaning. So I hope this was helpful to you. I probably won't do this every week, but I just wanted to get us started, wet your whistle. And if I find stuff that really grabs my attention, which I was surprised in one book, so many things grabbed my attention. This time, I think reading it one chapter at a time is going to be very, very positive. Anyway, if I find anything else, I will pass it along. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day. If you're fasting, have an easy fast. If you're not fasting and just kind of contemplating life and thinking about where we could do better, hey, that's good too. Do what you can. So have a great day, and thank you for listening. Shalom.